Hello again. Welcome to lesson 10 of Ukulele for Beginners. Today's song is Kung Fu Fighting by Carl Douglas, one of the great one-hit wonders from the 70s, which works surprisingly well on the ukulele. Here's the tab sheet. Carl Douglas was a Jamaican artist based in the UK. This song was a huge disco hit, topping the charts in the USA and the UK. Whoop. Hey, whoa. Its popularity was based on a love of kung fu movies at the time, and it basically just jumps between C and D minor, but there are a couple of little variations on that which will be fun to learn. It's all pretty easy. Okay, so the ukulele has strings G, C, E and A, and frets 1, 2, 3, 4, etc. You may have seen these chords, or some of these chords, in earlier lessons. Just go to Beginner's Ukulele Lessons by Andrew Crooks on YouTube if you're interested. I'll quickly go through them again though anyway. C is just pressed down on the 3rd fret A string. D minor is E string 1st fret and G and C strings in the 2nd fret, and so most of the time you're going C, D minor, and that's like 90% of the song. There's little variations though. One of them is my all-time favourite, A minor 7, where you press down on exactly nothing and just leave the frets alone. And for that one, it's a particularly supposedly Chinese sounding strum where you go so that's quite clumsy the way I did that because I'm holding the ukulele funny, but it's, if you do that quickly it sounds a little bit oriental, especially the, and you'll see where that appears in the context of the song when I go through that in a second. Another little variation you do is when you're in C, which is A string 3rd fret, just press down on the E string 1st fret, and that's C sus4, which is there on a card. So you're going from C to C sus4, and it just kind of, it's a nice little variation, intensifier, whatever you want to call it. And the other one that we've done before is D7, and that's that on a card. And incidentally, I forgot to say that that's A minor 7, that's C, that's D minor on a card. So D7, E string, 2nd fret E string and G string, and that's D7, which is a good D to go to if you're in a rush. So, Carl Douglas's Kung Fu Fighting. To begin with, you just run the pick, or your finger more likely, down the strings in C and go whoa, whoa, whoa. Then D minor, whoa, whoa, whoa. Back to C, whoa, whoa, whoa. And then D minor again, whoa, whoa, whoa. Then it's a sudden change of tempo. It was kind of like a little, suddenly it's a disco song. Everybody was kung fu fighting in C, and it's all just played in a sort of rapid down, down, up, high tempo strum, except for this bit where you A minor 7, so it's hands off, and give it a big huh. So it's everybody was kung fu fighting, huh, and there's that sort of pseudo-oriental bit. Jump to D minor, Those kicks were fast as lightning. And then it's the same thing, except this time you're jumping to D7, ha! And again that supposedly oriental strum. Jump back down to C. In fact, it was a little bit frightening. Then it's the C sus4. Back to D minor. But they fought with expert timing. Then D7 again. Then it's first verse, first of two verses. There was Funky China Man, and this now you're just jumping from C to D minor. In Funky Chinatown, they were chopping them up, they were chopping them down. It's an ancient Chinese art, and everyone knew their part. From fainting to a slip, and kicking from the hip. So then it's chorus verse. The music is the same as I've just shown you. At the very end, you're now doing a rapid strum. Whoa, whoa, whoa. So this is sort of the finale. And again, once again, you're just jumping from C to D minor, going whoa, whoa, whoa. And at the very end, you're in C. Everybody was kung fu fighting, huh. And it's kind of like a dramatic ending. And that's the whole song. Everybody was kung fu fighting, huh. Those kicks were fast as lightning, huh. In fact, it was a little bit frightening, but they fought with expert timing. There was Funky China Man from Funky Chinatown. They were chopping them up, they were chopping them down. It's an ancient Chinese art, and everyone knew their part. From fainting to a slip, and kicking from the hip. Everybody was kung fu fighting, huh. Those kicks were fast as lightning, huh. In fact, it was a little bit frightening, that they fought with expert timing. There was Funky Billy Jim and Little Sammy Chong. He said, here comes the big boss, let's get it on. We took a bow and made a stand, started swaying with the hand. A sudden movement made me skip, now we're into a brand new trip. Everybody was kung fu fighting, huh. Those kicks were fast as lightning, huh. In fact, it was a little bit frightening, but they fought with expert timing. Whoa, whoa, whoa. Whoa, whoa, whoa. Whoa, whoa, whoa. Whoa, whoa, whoa. Everybody was kung fu fighting, huh. This lesson was sponsored by the book 12 Tales of France, available on Kindle. Fables set in France. Feel-good stories in a feel-bad world. Thank you so much for listening. Bye-bye.